What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I'm bringing you an update to my third place Maliss profile. Now obviously this was only at locals, but it's still something that I'm trying to get used to with this deck, kind of learning it out, testing out its different kind of boundaries, what it can do, and different variations. Now this variation does involve the Sky Striker package rather than involving the Kashtira package, so I wanted to see how that one worked. Next I'll probably try out the Fiendsmith version of the deck just to kind of see which one I prefer the playstyle of. I ended up losing only one game, and that was to Evil Eyes. Now I know that kind of sounds like, whoa, what the hell? But with the Evil Eye matchup, I kind of like, game 3 wasn't ideal. I kind of bricked a little bit, and then we both opened up. So I opened up Shifter, they opened up Lancia, and then they just had a bit more to stop me, basically. Other than that, I ended up facing Tenpai and Yugioh as well, which was both kind of an interesting thing to see how the deck operates post-ban list and kind of work it from there. The deck is still incredibly good. I feel that it's relatively fair in my opinion. Like, it does a lot in order to build up a very less effective end board. Like, its actual end board of like a Terahertz with like a trap card set and the field spell isn't that impressive, but it does able to draw more cards, which means it can play more hand traps, and then on top of that, it's what it's going to get when it revives from the graveyard. So it does have a lot of choke points. I feel that if you interact at the right times can cause it issues, so it's not the most broken deck I've ever seen or the most broken deck of the format, but it's definitely one of them decks that I feel can be very, very powerful, and it is very good in when you're utilizing different engines with it that help it support. And then I just like the whole idea of the Alice in Wonderland theme alongside with like Cyverse. It kind of brings me back to like Mathmech days and Code Talker days, which is really kind of cool. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. I'm not going to spend forever on this list because most of it pretty much stays the same, and it is pretty much the same throughout most people's builds. So you are going to be going with triple Maliss White Rabbit, pretty standard and staple on that one. Triple Dormouse. I'm still playing the one Chetty Cat. I'm relatively happy with it, and the reason I'm playing the one Chetty Cat is I'm also playing the one Code of Soul. I just quite like the idea of Code of Soul. Like, there was a couple of times where the graveyard effect came up for me, and there was a couple of times where the actual ability to summon it from the hand came up for me, and it was another kind of cool option off of the back of Silent Mining. But that being said, I wasn't the biggest fan of Silent Mining throughout the day, just to the fact that every time I opened it, every time I activated it, it was always risky. It always felt like it was a bit of a neg. It always felt like it didn't get me where I wanted it to go. And when it did, I kind of needed that additional card in the hand to help me discard for every other effect. But it kind of works the way it works. The one Dotscaper, absolutely fine. And then, of course, the two Silent Mining to help you search out any of these cards shown. Now, what I was seeing myself doing more times than not is I was actually holding back the Silent Mining, and it was one of them ones that if I got hit with draw, it wasn't the biggest end of the deal. But the idea is that because I had so many different ways to get to my Dormouse and my Rabbit, I was actually using Silent Mining later on, that if my combo got interrupted or if my combo got stopped or affected or anything like that, I would Silent Mining going for the Code of Soul, and then Code of Soul will help me extend and allow me to rebuild my plays, because I would hold back something like a Splash Mage, so that I always had that ability that if it did get Nibiru'd, if I did get stopped or anything like that, I could just go into a Splash Mage, revive from the graveyard, and then build up into a Maliss Link monster from that point on. Then for the Maliss track cards, of course, pretty standard on this one of each of those. You don't really want to be seeing, like, this is okay to see in the opening hand. You don't ever really want to see this in the open hand, and I think I saw it once. This one, seeing it in the open hand is not that bad, but obviously this one is very susceptible to Ash, so this one special summons from the deck, this one special summons from the grave or banish, and this one lets you add one, but then banish one non-target if you control a Maliss Link monster. And then, of course, pretty standard on this one, triple field spell with one Terraform. So then what I decided, well, I'll show you off the one gold Sark as well, just because it's another kind of starter piece or another kind of combo piece, like banish the White Rabbit, banish the Dormouse, and then build off the back of there. And then for the other cards that I was main decking, whether it be board breakers or hand traps, I kind of went with Triple Book of Eclipse. This actually put in a decent amount of work for me, because what I liked about Book of Eclipse, unlike something like Lancer, which is only in format specifically for Maliss, this is a card that is effective against most decks. It can be very good against the rogue matchups. It can be very good against the Rise-Heal matchups. The fact that it non-target and flips is really, really important, and it can be a very good disruptive card that not a lot of people are expecting in the main deck that catches a lot of them off guard. I was then playing double Triple Tactic Talents. This is a 42 card build, but to be completely honest, I don't think I needed to play this. There was times where I felt that I would much rather be playing Crossout Designator again, because there was times where I was like, okay, well, if I had a Crossout Designator at this point, I would be able to play around Lancer a little bit more, or if I had it at this point, I'd be able to play a little bit more. So it's something that I did consider for the side deck, but then ultimately decided not to play it. And I feel that that's something I'm going to shuffle back into, is I felt a little bit more protected with Crossout Designator in the main deck on my previous build, even though I was playing the Cash Tearers, and it just gave me a little bit more, because then it meant that if my opponent did open up multiple interruptions, or if they did open up an imperm at the right time when I didn't have the protection for it, I could activate Crossout Designator and protect. Then for the hand traps, pretty stacked on this one. So triple Ash Blossom, double Draw on Lockbird, double of the Bestials. And then the one big difference between this and the cash build, which is what lets you play this card, is being able to play Dominus Impulse. This puts in a lot of work for me, to be completely honest with you. It's a card that I really do like. I love the artwork of it. I love the effect of it. I love what it does. So it's one of the ones that if I feel like I will go out of my way to make my deck able to play it. And that's something I definitely want to be looking forward to. Obviously, it then clashes with the Fiendsmith package. So it's one of the ones that when I try out the Fiendsmith package, I'll feel or see that if I feel that I was missing this card massively. If not, then okay, maybe I'll play without it. But honestly, I think it's one of the ones that I really do want to try and play with. And then, of course, got triple Imperm, pretty standard on that one. And then for the final engine is the Sky Striker engine of triple Mobilize Engage, 1 Drones, and 1 Widow Anchor. Now, to be completely honest with you, I wasn't as... not surprised, but I didn't feel that it was as good. Now, it's one of them ones that, yes, okay, the Cash Tearer pretty much does the exact same job, but it gives you that ability to look at your opponent's extra deck, take away some of their advantage. Whereas this one is just a little bit more of a gas option. And what I mean by that is you'll go Engage, search out Drone into a token into Kagari, add back the drone, activate drones, gives you 2 bodies on board. Great success, because then you just go, what it gives you is it lets you go normal summon Dormouse, and they go, right, negate the Dormouse. You go, okay, that's fine. You just decided not to negate the Kagari, decided to negate the Dormouse, but I can still just link all 3 of those off and go into Red Ransom or go into White Binder. So it still gave me more to play with and more to play through, which was quite important. I get that part of it. But honestly, I never resolved the draw off the back of Engage. Not that I was expecting to anyway. I just feel that these 5 cards can become something that's probably a bit better for me personally. I think that obviously that's where your Fiendsmith engine comes in, whether you're playing 1 Trap, 2 Engraver, 1 Lacrima, and then 1 Lurry. It's something that I will trial out, and it's going to be switching these 5 cards around and around and around until I find one that sticks with me and kind of I feel works nicely. The Widow Anchor was nice, but the only time I ever used it is I went Engage, going second, and decided to go for the Widow Anchor instead of the drones because I felt I had enough. Used the Widow Anchor to negate Rage, Unchained Soul Rage, so that I was able to build my board and not worry about an SP Little Knight. So that's pretty much it for the entire main deck. I will show you my extra deck as well, side deck as well, and the extra deck. So I'll show you the extra deck first. So this one's pretty standard. So for the Malice monsters, you got the 1 Hearts of Crypta. I felt that the one big difference between this version and the previous version that I was playing was I actually respected Hearts of Crypta a lot more. Like, it put in so much more work for me. 1 Red Ransom, 1 White Binder. Pretty standard on that lineup. The 1 Kagari, because that's the one card that you will play because of the Striker engine. Again, that's the one difference between this and the Cash Tearer engine, is the Cash Tearers don't really float into the extra deck so much. So that's where you'll get a bit more flexibility. The only downside if you are going to be playing the Cash Tearer package is the Cash Tearer package will affect the extra deck a little bit more, because straight away you're going to want to be playing a Moon of the Closed Heavens, you're going to want to be playing a Requiem, and then of course you're going to want to be playing at least a Desiree. So that's 3 cards already that you need to find space for, and that's probably where you no longer play Firewall Dragon or the Dark Fluid, but honestly I thought Firewall was really cool, I quite enjoyed it. For the basic Link ones, of course, the 1 Link Garibo, the 1 Link Decoder, both of these are actually really, really good for the deck. It's very rare that you leave this on the board to actually get the trap negate, but it can be quite deterrent if you have enough to extend. For example, if you open like a Bestial and then a Malice monster, you turn a Malice into the Link Garibo, and it means you can start protecting against stuff like Imperms until you get the TB11, which will allow you to dodge them anyway. And then the 1 Link Spider, that if you get nibbed, you turn it into Link Spider, you've got a Cyverse, and you continue to make your plays off the back of that. For the insanely powerful Link 2s, you've got your 1 Splash Mage to revive from the graveyard, you've got your 1 Haggard Lizardos to banish from the graveyard, so both of them giving you what you need to extend it into your Link 3s. SP Little Knight, pretty standard on that one, just SP Little Knight is what SP Little Knight is, just incredibly powerful. 2 Link 4s, the 1 in the Firewall Dragon. I can understand why people cut this. I still really, really like it. Like, I'm quite partial to the combo where you put both of your Malice Link monsters pointing to it, then you use Firewall to bounce 2 back, link those Malice monsters back off with the Link Decoder to go into the Hearts Crypta, and then Firewall brings you down your Chetty Cat. Chetty Cat banishes the other card that you added back off of Firewall to draw you 2 new cards. I quite like that, but I can see where it can be sacrificed for other stuff. Your aggressive option, of course, is the access code talker. Like, this card with the Maliss deck is insane. The fact that you can go, cool, banish one of my Maliss monsters like Red Ransom, or Heart Scriptor is like the best one you can banish, because you'd banish Heart Scriptor. Heart Scriptor comes back. Access code will already be 5/3 already, and then Heart Scriptor will end up being 5k as well. So both of them have got game on board, and you've ended up getting a destruction off of the back of access code, non-target, and then you'll get a non-target banish off of the back of the Heart Scriptor, which is just insane. And then, of course, you've got the one, the Terahertz, followed up by the 2 targets you're going to want to send, being the one Drave Swarm and the one Packbit. Packbit actually put in a little bit more work for me, which is why I decided to cut the XYZ for it to trial it out. I feel that Packbit is probably the one that I'm going to want to go for a little bit more, because putting their monsters into the spell and trap zone can be a little bit better than negating them, because then it means they don't have that body on the board, and that body, unless they're playing something like Snake Eyes, is kind of tricky for them to deal with. So it's also quite nice with a Yugioh matchup. You push a Yugioh into there, or you'd push a Pydra in there, push a Bestial Druid Swarm in there, like anything that's going to cause you issue, being able to push them back into the spell and trap zone is actually really, really helpful. So that's it for the entire main and extra. Now onto the side deck. So for the side deck, I was siding in Triple D Shifter. This is really environmental specific. Now what I mean by that is, I didn't play Artifact Lancer because I wasn't expecting to face any Maliss at locals, because the players that I was expecting to play Maliss wasn't there, and I knew that a lot of players were playing Ryziel, which is why I obviously main decked the Book of Eclipse. So the idea is that if I'm going to a heavy Maliss environment, these would come out for Lanciers, but then when I'm doing that, I'd probably also consider Crossout Designator, and I might even consider Liner the Light Charmer, just because in a matchup, if I'm going to be playing the mirror match and they're going to Lancier me, I can then just go, okay, cool, Liner, bring back, and then Lancier them in retaliation. Triple Fluoros just is what it is, really. I'm not the biggest fan of this card in general. It just has the same feels to me as Maxi was for me back in the day, and that was Maxi would always be my SIP card. Like, no matter how much, it would always be my SIP card. Even at 1, my next SIP card would be Maxi after my opponent's already comboed. So I'm not that enthralled with this card, but it's just one of the ones that I felt you probably needed in the meta matchup or in the meta game, and that's why I got it. Triple Forbidden Droplet, just to have that board negator. Yes, of course, I won't put this in with Shifter, or if I do put it in with Shifter, it becomes slightly dead, so I do need to keep that in mind. But I just like the idea of Forbidden Droplet to be able to negate a board and help me build over it. Never put it in, never sided it, but it's just one that you need to be aware of. Triple Cosmic Cyclone to deal with back row, and then Triple D Barrier because, you know, Tempires, U-Bells. The Evil Eye matchup, this was like 100% dead. Like, you wouldn't put it in there because they just go like all links. So maybe a Simul's Archfiend would have been kind of cool for that. But even then, the Evil Eye player's been playing it for ages, so they're actually really, really good with it. And they ended up getting top 128, I believe, at Nats last year with Evil Eyes. And this was during like full-on Snake Eyes, Tempai format. So yeah, they know what they're doing, and it was a really kind of good matchup. So it's just something to be aware of that I wasn't 100% prepared for. And even with stuff like D-Shifter and B-Seals, I never saw them when I needed them. So it is what it is. But that's it for the entire main deck, side deck, and extra deck to give you a bit of an insight into what the deck currently looks like. Like I said, I'm still in the testing phase of which version I prefer. I feel that I would probably much rather play the Kashtira version than the Sky Striker version right now. So the next one is the Fiendsmith version, and honestly, I don't want to be getting within that trap of, you know, Fiendsmiths are everything. But that kind of seems to be the strongest meta call, depending on what you're trying to achieve and what you're trying to play with those. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. If you do have any questions at all, by all means, please put in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them for you. For now, as absolutely always, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.